2019 was a year of many apologies and political change for Nunavut. The federal government apologized to Nunavut Inuit 3 separate times for historical wrongs. First was in AVIAQ, apologizing to the AKYAKANAVIGAK for their forced relocation between 1949 and 1959. The second was in Iqaluit, apologizing to Inuit for how tuberculosis patients were treated between 1940 and 1960.
We are sorry that because we waited, there are many loved ones who will never hear this apology.
Afterwards, the Prime Minister was facing questions from the press, who asked about the recent departure of Jody Wilson-Raybould from Trudeau's cabinet. ITK President Nathan Obed was not impressed and scolded the press for asking about the story of the day instead of the story he wanted to hear.
But the fact that media pass right by the people whose human rights abuses were not told by the media for decades to other stories of the day is still a reflection on the work that needs to happen on reconciliation.
The third apology was for the treatment of Inuit on Baffin Island between 1950 and 1970. With so many apologies, we wanted to know if they had any actual value. QIA President PJ AKYAKANAVIGAK and Federal Minister Carolyn Bennett sure think so.
Whether it's the third or not, these apologies matter to Inuits.
But until there's been an apology, it's not really a partnership anymore. Yeah.
It wasn't just apologizing feds visiting Iqaluit this year. The leaders of all 3 major federal parties made stops in Iqaluit. Andrew Scheer appeared to support former Cabinet Minister Leona Glucock's attempt to get her seat back. The Prime Minister also visited to support his candidate, Megan Pizzo-Lyle. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh didn't visit before or during the election. He sure did after, because the NDP candidate became the first Nunavut NDP MP since the territory was formed in 1999. Mumilak Kakak was the political story of the year here in Nunavut. Originally from Baker Lake, the 25-year-old Iqaluit resident won the MP seat on her first try. Not just her first try at winning a seat in Parliament, her first try at elected office ever. She was offering change, and Nunavummiut agreed.
We often hear that these issues are not simple, but I can confidently say the solutions are very simple, so there is no reason that these issues cannot be taken care of.
Mumilak Kakak wasn't the only interesting Inuk we met this year. We met award-winning Inuk author AVIAQ JOHNSTON.
I grew up seeing Inuit written by a non-Inuk perspective, and I started to believe those perspectives, and it didn't really, I was like, well, that doesn't really make sense, so I started wanting to write my own story.
We caught up with Johannes Akumailuk. He's a city councillor, but his day job is helping Inuit find the graves of family members who died in the south of tuberculosis.
But since then, when the Prime Minister made the official apology, I've been getting calls every day. It's overwhelming.
We got to meet young Miles Brewster, who caused a stir at the local middle school. He wouldn't stand for the national anthem because his school had Orange Shirt Day without teaching that it was to remember residential school survivors.
It was scary at first. Then I was like, I wonder what's going to happen at the principal's office. Then they just sent me back to class. It wasn't that bad.
At Iqaluit's museum, we got to meet the first ever Inuk to curate the museum, Jessica KOTIERK.
I think my hope is that more people come into the museum, more people in the community come into the museum, and just feel like this is a place for people to come in and learn more and share information.
Some of the interesting Inuit we met weren't even in Nunavut. In Ottawa, we checked in at Nunavut Civic Nupsavut, a school for Nunavut graduates to upgrade their academic skills before post-secondary education.
Oh, it was, the whole experience has been, it's still confusing to me. Moving here at 17, moving out of my home environment or to a place where I don't really know well and I don't know a lot of people, it's pretty nerve-wracking. And
even in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, some unique northern noises could be heard. Alika Komanopek spent her summer performing with the Confederation Center Young Players, sharing her culture and her talent. For us here at the Iqaluit Bureau, it was a year of people, which makes sense. The word Inuit means people in English, and 2020 will be much the same, because there are 28,000 Inuit in Nunavut, and that means there are 28,000 stories to be told. Ken Driscoll, APTN National News, Iqaluit.